Hello everyone, welcome to Fablehaven Age of Wonders 4 Tiger Update 1.3 Open Beta. It is exceptionally rare that an interim patch has an open beta, but I just suppose that goes to show how useful the open beta was for Tiger Patch in the first place. So, as always, I will leave a link in the description down below if you'd like to read this patch for yourself, or if you would like the instructions on how to join the open beta. We will briefly go over it. The previous patch was primarily hotfixes and bug fixes. This one includes changes, which is why they're doing the open beta. The hero rework has been a little divisive, and this hopefully, ideally, works to kind of branch those who love the update and those who dislike it. But let's find out together. I haven't read it quite yet. So, hello all. Today we are putting the next update for Age of Wonders 4 into open beta. With this update, we are looking to address the most critical feedback of the hero rework. Considering the time we've had, this update is incredibly jam-packed with the separation of hero class and hero loadout, 2 new hero hybrid classes, and 3 new skirmisher weapons/loadouts. Our hope is to be able to release this update fully before the holiday season. However, that planning may change based on your feedback. If you want to provide your feedback, you can do so by making a discussion thread in the open beta discussions. May your pantheons thrive. I know they want the official open beta feedback to be here, but do remember the devs are very active on their own Discord. If you ever have any feedback of any kind, they're there, just please don't tag them. Getting into the beta, what you need to know. This will include some warnings that we are familiar with. If you want to take part in the beta, there are a few important things you need to know. This beta is only available on Steam. Owners on console, Epic, or GOG will receive this update later when it fully releases. If a save has been made in the open beta, there is no going back. Moving into the open beta will transition all your custom rulers. Once this has occurred, you cannot switch back to 1.2. If you do so, your rulers will invalidate and no longer be accessible. Only participate if you want to try the new hero changes. If you want to join for specific fixes, we recommend you do not. So I will not be playing in the open beta. Of course, Shalasa is still ongoing, and I'm preparing for the next patch, which I think I'll try and start on 1.3 unless it gets super delayed. Only use this in multiplayer if all participants agree. Make sure you do not use the beta in multiplayer without checking with the other players first. Once a multiplayer game session has been updated to use the open beta, you cannot go back to previous versions. And then, of course, to access the beta, right-click, go to Properties, enter the beta, and there should be the Tiger beta will be listed in the drop-down menu. So, with all that out of the way, let's get to the key changes. Hero class updates. We have essentially overhauled the underlying hero system once again to split up loadouts, i.e. hero background traits, into hero class and hero weapon. This change brings with it a lot of risk for existing rulers as well as mods, changing the hero classes/loadouts. Separated hero class and weapon loadouts. Class and loadout can be picked individually based on the expected weapon restrictions. Adds a new hero class, Death Knight? Oh. I had an idea for the next playthrough, and that idea has just gone out the window. Good. A hero class that specializes in high damage melee attacks, backed up by debuffs and summoned undead units. They can equip the great weapons, the one-handed weapons, shields, fist weapons, and polearm weapons. Oh, so let's read this first and I'll talk about something. Add a new hero class, Spellblade. A hero class that uses both melee and magic attacks to deal magic damage from a distance and physical damage when the enemy gets close. Can equip great weapons, one-handed weapons, shields, fist weapons, and polearm weapons. So one of the biggest complaints about the hero rework is that it kind of narrowed the vision for your heroes. Like previously, you could have basically Gandalf where you are a wizard with a staff. You could do any sort of crazy thing that you wanted to. Of course, the counter argument to that is that the design of heroes was very restricted by the ability to combine whatever you want. Whichever side of that argument you fall on, that's your opinion. I hope this hybrid class idea kind of helps, branch those two opinions together. And there are new icons to hero classes. So even more skirmisher weapons and loadouts. The 3 new skirmisher weapons are Javelin. Ooh. I believe the only javelin thrower we have is the Barbarian, right? The Sunderer. And of course the tier 4 Storm Caller thing. Is that a javelin or is that a trident? Potato, potato. Melee strike of 12 damage plus 2 per item tier, and javelin 22 base damage plus 4 per item tier cannot be mounted. Is this a skirmisher mage lock? Sword and net. Oh, I have a feeling this is going to be very strong. This is from, of course, the Reavers. They're tier 1, whatever it's called. Melee strike, 14 base damage plus 2 per tier item. So slightly more base damage than the javelin. And the throw net, which is 18 base damage plus 4 per tier item, and a 90% chance to immobilize. Immobilization is very powerful, and kind of rare. Sort of. And they cannot be mounted either. Okay. The sword and throwing dagger for the Ways of War only. Melee strike 14 base damage plus 2 per item tier, and the dagger throw 22 base damage plus 4 per item tier cannot be mounted. So this is basically the, why did I forget that? The Shade. I was going to say the Ninja. It's basically a ninja. Okay. Very nice. I like the expansion of the Skirmisher stuff. I'm trying out Skirmisher on Olway, but I don't think I have the right build for him. Might reset. We'll see. Updated culture loadouts. The Barbarian has the Javelin loadout and the Sword and Net loadout. As just mentioned, this is for creating your hero at the very start. Of course, these items can be created by anyone in the Item Forge, I would assume. I'm not sure if the Item Forge creation is locked for the Sword and Throwing Dagger behind the Ways of War. I don't think so, but I don't know. The Dark gets the Sword and Net. The Feudal can have a Javelin or the Sword and Net. And the Sword and Net. The Industrious gets the Sword and Net. The Reaver gets the Sword and Net, the Fire Orb, and the Reaver Staff. They didn't have the Reaver Staff. Primal added Javelin loadout to all Primal animals except Spider. And added Sword and Net loadout to Primal Spider. Okay. The Oathsworn get the Sword and Throwing Dagger loadout. That makes sense. Wizard Kings can now use orbs and staves of all base damage types. Cool. So again, this is for when you are making your god here. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty details. For heroes, the base hero stats have HP reduced from 90 to 80, defense reduced from 3 to 2, and resistance reduced from 3 to 2. For the Dragon Lord, the base HP is reduced from 100 to 80, the defense reduced from 4 to 3, and the resistance from 4 to 3. Okay, so they're weakening heroes. Heroes are very strong in this patch. I mean, except defenders, but besides that, they're pretty strong, especially the Dragon Lords. I don't think this will be too much of a change, but it does make the squishy boys squishier. So, for the Wizard Kings and the Champions. So we'll see. The Command and Channeling Rich abilities can no longer have their cooldowns reset. Okay. The Eldritch Sovereign Enthralling Truth now correctly lasts until the end of combat, so that was a bug fix. And Dragon Lords are now allowed to change their class and Dragon Claw after Ascension. Okay. Alright. For the Warrior. Here we go. This is the Shock units. Shock or the Brawler. Generally reduce their solo survivability. Distracting Charge and Reckless Charge are now mutually exclusive, so they're moving the locks around a little bit. Reckless Rage and Critical Momentum are now mutually exclusive. Unyielding no longer grants +2 resistance. Graceful Charge reduced grace granted from +2 to +1. I'm surprised that went in that way, because for the Oathsworn, they had to reduce all graceful gains down to +1, so this is perfectly in line with changes they made prior to the Oathsworn's release. Willbreaker increased radius from adjacent enemies to 3 hexes. Ooh. Okay. And Warseeker now only works on enemy units. The effect now lasts for 2 turns rather until the end of combat, and reduced max stack from 5 to 3. That is a pretty big nerf. I believe this isn't this the gain damage when something dies? Of course, now it's only when enemy units dies. I think this is still good. Just obviously less better. Because whatever this alternative one was, I really didn't like it compared to Warseeker, so maybe now we'll see changes to them. All in all, Warrior was very strong, so I kind of understand these changes. Defender. So Defender, I believe the community consensus was Defender was a little weak, so we'll see what they think now. Made Tireless Retaliator a bit more niche, shuffled damage bonus on fighting skills to make it a more interesting choice between survivability and damage. So Tireless Retaliator just gave infinite retaliations, right? How do you make that more niche? Graceful Defender reduced grace granted from +2 to +1. Not surprising. Tireless Retaliator now grants Tireless Retaliation while in defense mode. I see. Is there a way to have Defense Master? Because if so, that means you always enter your turn in defense mode. Basically what this is saying is if you attack, you don't get infinite retaliations. Unless, of course, you have Defense Master or some item or whatever. Resistant Vanguard, reduce Sage Resistance from +2 to +1. Fighting 1, reduce damage increase from 10% instead of 15. And for Fighting 2, increased damage increased to 20% instead of 15%. Now mutually exclusive with Greater Vigor and renamed to Greater Fighting. I see. Greater Vigor is +30 HP, I think. So now they're really making you choose between do you want more damage or do you want more HP? Okay. These are all nerfs, though. Except for Fighting 2. I mean, the exclusivity is a nerf as well. We'll see. So for the Mage, quite a few changes here. Reduced leftover accuracy abundance. Now, Maximized Magic is the primary source of accuracy, while Magecraft and Arcane Strength provide more damage to let Mage keep up with the other rolls and damage better. Fantastic. I felt Mage was a little lackluster. So we'll see how it pans out. Magecraft 1 and 2 have had their +10% accuracy replaced with +10% damage. Fantastic. Arcane Strength replaced +10% accuracy with 10% damage. Lightning Evocation had its jumps reduced from 3 to 2. Maximized Magic, critical hit chance reduced from 30% to 20%. Devastation, or Devastating Evocation, this is the fire, I believe, no longer incorrectly removes the chance to inflict burning from fire evocation. Oh, it's an upgrade to it. That was a funny bug. Wildfire, renamed to Wildfire Strikes, worked to inflict damage and spread burning to adjacent targets with basic attack. Reworked, excuse me. Okay, I think that's a good change. Displacement now only triggers from melee attacks. They did it! The mad lads! This went from being like the worst talent to probably being pretty good. So Displacement is my least favorite passive in the entire game. Because, I believe it was only on like items previously. But you would just be hit by some wayward range attack, and then you would, with almost 100% guaranteed, teleport towards the enemy. And it drove me absolutely insane. So now the premise is if somebody gets into melee with you, they hit you and you get displaced. Of course, this is still pretty sketch against being charged. But we'll see. The Ritualist. Astral Bond retaliation count gain is reduced to make the benefit from melee or ranged targets more equal. Okay. The Astral Bond reduced retaliating attack bonus from +2 to +1. This change also affects the Mystic School of Summoning Summoners. Alright. Sure, Jaina just got this, I believe, in the Shalasa playthrough. This is fine. Ranger. Reduced power of Invigorating Takedown slightly. So Invigorating Takedown, reduced strength and gain from +2 to +1. That's fine. Go for the Kill now works on all attacks, not just melee and physical ranged. I wonder how... That feels abusable. We'll find out, though. Scattershot now always shoots at the center hex of the AoE. Where did I get the word always from? Is this like a visual thing? Snapshot now always faces the target when shooting. Good. Fatal Strikes no longer shows up in the unit panel, only as an ability modifier. Oh, okay. I think this is just a UI change. Critical Skirmisher now shows up in the unit panel. Good. Critical Second Wind now shows up in the unit panel. Good. And Knockback Retaliations also shows up in the unit panel. Evasive Strikes now shows up as an ability modifier. Okay, sure, a bunch of UI changes for the Ranger. The Ranger was the one they had to kind of like built from the ground up. So I'm not surprised there's a lot of these little micro fixes. Signature hero skills, Soul Draining Strikes, now inflicts 2 remorse when attacking with a single action. Oh, okay. That's fine. This is from Shadow Adept, I think, of late. In general, the Ways of War ruler lore entries have been added to the encyclopedia. Arcane Artisans reduce mana gain from mines from 10 to 5. That's gonna hurt. I mean, this is in line with a regular building, but still. Added a horizontal scrolling bar to the scripting dialogue. Okay, sure. Improved likelihood of AI casting race transformations. Yes! Finally! The issue was that the AI discount for research did not correctly apply. Increased AI value for racial transformations and adjusted the research for the AI. So the AI in like my past 3 or 4 playthroughs never, ever did a racial transformation unless it was Whiteborn. For whatever reason, the AI was like, yeah, we need Whiteborn because, you know, all the undead energies. But every other one I never saw. Ever. You'd see a minor transformation here or there, but no major transformations. It was kind of jarring, I'm not going to lie. Combat AI is now much less likely to move before using a free ability. Oh, this happens all of the time. Good change. AI understanding of the command hero abilities has been improved. Good. The AI understanding of the Astral War ability has been improved. Melee units are now much less likely to move away from the front line when using a ranged ability. No. Reduced threat projection range of melee units from 4 to 3 hexes, so range units do not feel like running as far away from them. Oh, good. I actually got a few comments that were complaining about this so-called spike mode, because the AI would just run max distance away from you, and of course you'd have to chase them down, and if something was in the way, yeah, it'd be annoying. Lowered the importance of threat by 70% when victory is certain, so units are not as skittish while winning. See? Told you. Lowered the importance of threat by 90% when loss is certain, so range units don't kite as much when they're going to lose anyway. Incredible. Great change. Fantastic. For combat, oh dear, what is this? Change the on-a-target killed effect exclusion from non-vital to friendly units. Oh! Interesting. That's really funny. The previous patch, they added the non-vital condition to a whole bunch of stuff, and now it's being switched. So non-vital is like the summoned units, tokens, the combat summons, that sort of thing. And it really did reduce the scaling of these on-target effects. But now it's being switched to friendly units. Interesting. Those effects, the right of possession from the Baylor, the special Baylor, Knightly Order, Order of the Indomitable, the unit enchantment for Bloodveer weapons, the Elder of Chaos for Dragon Lords, the Order Paragon skill Lead by Example. I don't remember what that is at all. The Mage Hero skill Devouring. Oh, okay. We have that on Shalasa. The Ranger Hero skill Invigorating Takedown, the Ranger Hero skill Killshot, the Ranger/Warrior Hero skill Grim Executioner, the Warrior Hero skill Warseeker, the Warrior Hero skill Willbreaker, the Warrior Hero skill Killing Momentum, and from the Item Forge. I thought they removed Killing Momentum from the Item Forge. Is it coming back? The Golden Golem Strike Gold, and the Ascended Warlord. This is very interesting. Like, all things considered, it's not really going to change much, but these on-target kill effects have gotten stronger with this buff, I think. What were people doing to specific friendly units? Interesting. Buffs and debuffs. Grace now stacks only up to 3 times, down from 5. Kinda saw that coming. Vicious Killer now does 4 more morale damage and correctly affects units 3 hexes away. Okay. Sure. Cultural changes. The Mystic School of Summoning, the unit summoner, Astral Bond Reduced Retaliation, we saw that earlier, and the combat spell Conjure Summoning Rift now selects a valid empty hex in the province to be summoned upon. Updated description to specify it summons on an empty hex in the target province. I haven't played the School of Summoning, so I have no idea what this is, but great. For the Oathsworn, Harmony no longer loses devotion when vowing to destroy an umbral dwelling. Lol. The Oathsworn Peacebringer. Uh-oh. Line Shot is no longer a base ability. Huh? What do you mean? But it had its damage increased from 20 to 24, and its range reduced from 4 to 3. So Line Shot is the... Well, it's an arrow shot that's in a line. Does this mean it's not an attack anymore? So it won't end your turn? Or, use your action? I'm confused by this. We'll have to see it. And the Oathsworn Sealbearer reduced HP from 65 to 55, and their defense and resistance been reduced from 2 to 1. So they thought they were too good. Sealbearers are pretty good. I don't know if reducing their defenses was the call. But hey, we'll see how it all pans out. Not a lot of cultural changes here. But, I don't really think they were needed. I think the cultures are kind of in an okay spot. Of course, Feudal needs some loving, but I feel like that's a bigger patch, to restore Feudal to its greatness. Rulers. Changed ambitions for rulers that can no longer have the Prospector ambition. This will cover 5 rulers in total over 3 DLCs. Blinty Boy, who now has the Delver ambition. You're telling me Blint, the Under-Delver, didn't have the Delver ambition? Okay. Fangir has Explorer, Aeralazular has Teacher, Udgard has Collector, and Ricturi has Imperialist. Not gonna lie, I don't know who any of those characters are. There's only one here that matters. My boy. Who, I hope you like his face, because you're going to be seeing it quite a bit in the future. No spoilers, though. Society trait, the Keepers of Knowledge. Reduced knowledge income from open borders from 20 to 10. Aww. And the Cult of Personality. Here we go. Units not led in an army by a hero suffer minus 20 morale instead of 10. And heroes gain plus 20 gold upkeep per renown level. Holy crap! Wait, is this all heroes or Pantheon heroes? Dear mother of God. They said they were going to nerf Cult of Personality. I didn't realize they were not taking the bat to the knee. They were taking the bat straight to the face. Does that gold upkeep affect Gaudir? Because if so, a fully juiced Dragon Lord has an upkeep of 110 gold now. Well, I'm glad that this campaign and the previous one were the Cults of Personality and we're done now. Dear mother. For heroes. Prospector, Artisan Equipment upkeep changed to hero upkeep plus 50 instead of 10 per unit. This is effectively the same. This is fine. The Steward now gives 40 renown for having a positive stability city for 5 turns. I believe it was 20. This is their minor ambition that only heroes can have. Your Gaudir cannot. Okay, sure. In the Item Forge, added Oathstorm item skills that were missing from the Item Forge. The Sword and Pistol Fire Mage Lock reduced base damage from 20 to 16. And the Sword and Crossbow Shoot Crossbow reduced base damage from 22 to 20. Is this in line with the net? Or I should just Control F this. So Throw Dagger is 22 plus 4. Javelin is 22 plus 4. Throw Net is 18. Well, the net thing, right? You're here for the Immobilize. Basically. Okay. I feel like Javelin should have more base damage than Throw Dagger, but we'll see. I wonder if this gives you Fatality as well. Like, that's the main draw of the Shade for me. Fatality. Huh. Okay. Where are we? We're here. Units. The Tome of Alchemy. The combat spell Anti-Magic Tincture now dispels 2 negative states effects instead of all. Oh. I mean, I haven't used this tome in ages, but Anti-Magic Tincture is insanely good. Now it's a lot less good. The Combat Special Province Unit Alchemist Lab increased cost from 120 production and 60 gold to 250 production and 100 gold. Okay. The Alchemist Lab is also pretty good SPI. The Order. My boy! The Tome of Cleansing Flame, the Pyre Templar, Fire Cleave now correctly damages obstacles. Good. Fire Cleave now has a 90% chance to inflict burning to both primary and secondary targets, and this shows up correctly in the tooltips. Previously was 60% to secondary targets. Fire Cleave now correctly has 50% effectiveness on secondary targets on status effects as well. So the secondary targets are a 45% chance to inflict? Wait, no, 90% to both primary and secondary, but Fire Cleave now correctly has 50% effectiveness on secondary targets on status effects as well. Or is this referring to other status effects? I haven't decided if this is a buff or a nerf yet. It's kind of both. For the Shadow, the Tome of Severing. Oh, I haven't used that in ages either. The World Map spell Conjure Spell Ward now selects a valid empty hex in the province to be summoned upon, and update your description to specify it summons on an empty hex in the target province. Great. That seems to be a problem that was occurring for some conjuring stuff. The units. Added a new property called Cannot Be Displaced. Okay, so it's like, Giants? Is that what it was called? A long time ago? This is given to the following units. All tower-type units. There are towers. All siegecraft type units. All tier 5 dragons. All tier 4 giants. Wait, what about the tier 4 dragon? The bone dragon. Is it ignored once again? The dragon ruler. The horned god. The earth titan. The bone dragon. There it is. Just keep reading. The ironclad and the Kara. Okay, these are all big boys. Understandable. I'm assuming the giant lords will, or giant kings, whatever they're going to be called, will also be in this list. Displace effects from abilities previously sometimes worked against units with a large target, and sometimes did not. Now they consistently work on all units except units that cannot be displaced. This influences the following abilities. Displace and replace modifier on many charge attacks and the item forge, the pushback modifier on 2 hero skills and the item forge, the cloud in a bottle item ability. The amount of times an AI has run up to me and pressed cloud of bottle and then did nothing. There's quite a few. I was thinking of a joke there, but I never came up with an analogy. The water spirit's tidal wave. One day we'll be able to summon this by ourselves. The Thunderbird's thunderclap, the ironclad's direct fire, the mercenary's drive back, the dragon ruler's tail bash, the dragon ruler's astral elder stormcall, spoilers for Shalasa, and the wind rager's whirlwind. The following effects are reworded from displaced to teleported because they still work on all units. The Direcaster's Hysteria Storm, the Wizard's Tower's Displacing Reality Combat effect, shared with the Astral Duo combat effect, and the So Confusion Siege project. Okay. Increase the magic bolt damage of the following units by 2 damage. Warlock, Awakener, Spellweaver, Banshee, Autumn Fairy, Winter Fairy, Watcher, Pyromancer, Evoker, Transmuter. Good change. Just like the heroes, battle mages have kind of felt weak. Like, especially in this list, the Transmuter. Holy crap, the Transmuter is so not great. Yeah, good. Usually you use the battle mages for like their secondary or even tertiary skill, like the Watcher's Stun, the Warlock's Curse, the Banshee's Scream. You get the point. The Awaker's Big Boom, fuck you. Always good fun. The Ghost Ship, Whale of the Lost now applies to Remorse. Still haven't fought one of these. The Baylor Chaos Brand now correctly berserks enemies until the end of combat. Cool, bug fix. In the world map, it is no longer possible to reduce the duration of pillage operations below 1 turn. My great strategy. So this, I believe, only applied to the Oath of Strife. And you could walk over. If you were the Oath of Strife and you had the Skilled Raider, Imperium Talents, you could walk over something and it instantly pillaged it. Now, effectively, what is the difference between that and this? There is very little difference, because even once you pillaged, you couldn't move. So it's not like you could pillage something and move on to pillage something else. You pillaged it and you were done moving. But you instantly got the money, you instantly got the Imperium as the Oath of Strife, and you would heal for 20%, whatever it is, from Skilled Raider. So now you have to wait a turn before that all comes in. But effectively, mechanically, this doesn't change anything. Added a new raise operations for Umbral Seeds. Oh, are those the province building things that the Umbral dwellings do? Very interesting. Okay, so those are all the changes. I am going to read the fixes because Shalasa has been encountering a few things, and we'll see if they've been fixed. So for the AI, fixed a crash that could occur due to no diplomatic state being found while processing if a stack would walk over a city district. That is incredibly specific. For the art, fix an issue where rulers do not face the opponent in the diplomacy screen. Lol, I don't think I've seen that. Fix an issue, non-scout units with Pegasus mounts hold their reins and weapons at the same time. Fix an issue where Mount Masters plus Blessed Dragon mounts cause your ruler to become a triplet. What? A triplet? Fix an issue where the hero is not centered in the hero panel while having the Blessed Dragon mount equipped. We've seen that. They're like off the screen. Fix the Power Templar's weapon being shown on boats. Lol. Fixes for multiple units that were not visually embarking when going into water. Oh, excuse me. The Iron Golem, the Accursed Ogre, and the Accursed Blade. For animations, fix a vertex explosion occurring when using Sprint on a Warbreed. Sprint on a Warbreed. Interesting. Fix an issue where a unit mounted on the Blessed Dragon have weird animation when they perform an attack. Yep. Fix an issue where units mounted on the Horned Bear move their legs when using range support and eating abilities. Fix an issue where hero's pushing attack ability has the wrong animation. Oh, I've never noticed. I've only ever used this to survive on Mr. Decker, and spoiler alert, it didn't work. Fix an issue where Ogrekin Sunderer throws javelins in an odd way. And fix an issue where Sundering Sweep ability has issues with its animation. We fixed an issue? This was an issue. Good. Faction Creation. Fix an issue where Eagle Mounts and Faction Creation plus Oathsworn Culture causes one to lose their entire body. There are a few of these lingering about. Fix an issue where the Herald of Glory outfit does not hide the hair over the male halfling's feet. Oh, that's so funny. I don't have a foot fetish. Fix an issue where Herald of Glory helmet is not correctly attached on the male Simian and Ogrekin forms. Who needs a neck? Fix a Simian race missing hair color option. Okay. Transformations. Fix an issue where Ascended rulers with the Angelic transformation would not show their wings. I think the Stranger had this. Fix an issue where Toadkin with Whiteborn transformation had see-through mouths. Lol. Fix an issue where Peacebringer with the Naga transformation causes the portrait to only show part of the Naga tail. We might encounter this bug in Shalasa playthrough. No spoilers. Fix an issue, insectoid units with helmets loses their eyes when applying certain major transformations. Those are quite important. Fix an issue where Simian form legs disappear from the knees down when the Astral Attunement transformation spell is used. So they had one where they used the wrong legs. By the way, one of the people that reported that told me it was it Lycan or Goatkin? Now their leggings are disappearing. Fix an issue where the Shield of Arctica has a very bright texture when the hero is affected by Astral Attunement transformation. Cool. Fix an issue where Gloomstrider's tentacles have a few puffed spikes. I mean, that's natural. It goes away, and if it doesn't, you should see a doctor. Fix an issue where Dragon Lord Order and Chaos crowns is placed around the neck. I don't believe we've seen that. I can only think of Arkath, who has the chaotic one. His crown's in the right spot. Although I wouldn't mind if it's around his neck if he doesn't stop attacking me. Fix issues with Keeper's Mark out of turn activation. Fix issues where Ghostfire did not properly count as burning for multiple effects, like Immolate, extra damage if target is burning, and Curse Eater. Oh, interesting. Good change. Fix a crash that could occur when apply the combat results. Fix a crash that could occur on getting unit kill rewards. Fix an issue where summon auto spells would run infinitely on water maps. Lol. Fix an issue where the Astral Dew magic material does not provide a combat enchantment during combat. The Mystic School of Potential fix an issue where Arcane Inspiration picks spells that are already max inspiration. No. Diplomacy, fix an issue where the demonic warlord personality was allowed to respond to improved diplomatic state events. I think I have gotten this. No, Blint's the only demonic warlord. He hasn't talked to me in like 3 episodes. Economy, fix an issue where the bathhouse could be moved in front of the tavern. Like built before it. Fix an issue where Master Masons discounted SPIs. Oh, that's actually a good book. Events, fix the following events not unfogging the quest location. Oh, like revealing it in the fog of war. Got it. Power made flesh, profound desire for insert unit, and into the den of insert unit. Okay. Fix an exploit with profound desire. The ranking up of the units now happens after the battle. Upon quest completion, units now actually have to fight in the battle to gain the additional experience. Okay. Archelot, I believe this is a quest or a campaign map. Fix an issue where Ura's Grasp applying to Pantheon heroes. Maybe? Happenings. Oh, I have. Actually, we've seen this. We saw this in the Blint playthrough. I was like, why do all of my Pantheon heroes have Ura's Grasp? Like, why are they all... Good change, good fix. It doesn't happen in just Archelot. Happenings. Cosmic happenings. Fix the signature hero skill Shield of Faith, lacking an identifier for counting as faithful, so the Dawn of the Lodestar can correctly recognize the hero. That's actually a good change. Fix the signature hero skill Condemning Strikes, lacking an identifier for counting as having zeal, so the Dawn of the Lodestar can correctly recognize the hero. Poor Dawn of the Lodestar. We had this in the Check Zero playthrough. It recognized me. You were zealous, right? Or we were faithful? Faithful. Intrigue happenings. Added mana cost to short-lived Regency. Remove location button from a Day of Judgment event. Fix an issue in the final event of the Usurper intrigue. Return of the victim player leader. Ensured the correct cities were used in the event. I believe we had a Usurper, the Fiendish Takeover. Or is that, wait, is there one called Usurper? Anyway, the Fiendish Takeover worked well. Fix an issue where the Reaper ruler that appears during the Possession Reaper intrigue happening was not correctly centered in multiple screens. I have seen that. Fix a crash that could occur when updating the banner of an intrigue player. Glad my playthrough didn't crash. Fix the ending of the prisoner happening when you assassinated the hero, which could soft lock the ruler from being defeated. That would be infuriating. Fix a crash that could occur due to intrigue rulers with no names triggering notifications for the players. Cool. I guess it's a good thing that my intrigue happening went off without a hitch. Except losing half my domain, but that's my fault, not the game's fault. Fix an issues where not all Pantheon heroes were eligible for Pantheon recruitment. Oh, I might have come over this, because I only had 3 recruitments in the Shalasta playthrough. Fix issue where consolidating push would damage or debuff the user. Oh. Fixed the Still as Stone hero. Skill now works correctly when engaged. Still as stone, still as stone. The update for that game actually dropped. I just haven't gone back to it yet. Fixed Rust Breath, not removing status effects. And fixed Restore, overflowing, granting 20 THP instead of... Oh, temporary hit points instead of 10. Oh, okay. Ambitions. Fix an issue where completing an ambition refreshed the city income, which completed the ambition again. Nice. Fix a crash in the faction creation screen. Fix an issue where the ability bar does not update when pressing the defense mode. Fixed Ways of War Ascension skills having the wrong icon in the skill tree. Okay. How much farther are we going? Man, there were a lot of fixes. Okay. Customization interfaces. Fix an issue where panels with customization options remain displayed after switching to a different tab inside the appearance screen. Fix an issue where the outfit image changed to an image of the shader's head instead of the shader's body, changing the body type. Fix an issue where the halfling shader images for the choices under the head category are tiny. Of course it's tiny, it's a halfling. Fix an issue where some items in the hero editor would not properly update their visuals. Fix an issue where the picker would stay open when switching tabs in the appearance screen. Fix an issue where the first 2 Molken beards are impossible to view on the shader inside the beard window. Ah, Blint. No facial hair on Blint. For the controller, fix an issue where the right stick button on the controller would not react properly to presses. How many people have tossed their controller or unplugged it or like replaced it because they thought their right stick button was broken? I have no idea how you plays with a controller, but Godspeed. Text and descriptions. Bounties for capturing cities now also mention that vassalizing the city is an option for completing the bounty. This actually happened to me, I think. I had a bounty where there's a comment that pointed it out. I should have taken the city and then released as a vassal for the bounty. Forming Realm now mentions in the description that it disables free cities. It does. Primal Dispute now mentions the victory condition in its description. That is the presence trait that came with Primal Fury. Lightless Realm unit property now correctly indicates -2 vision instead of -3. Fix the debug text being present in the tooltip of the Necrotic Spires. Makes an encrypt description of Warrior's Soul. Oh yeah, there was some dispute on whether the Stripes Warrior's Soul was working as intended. I guess it was the description that was wrong. Fix an issue where quest objectives that were set through scripting could not always get the correct description. I believe I have seen that. Snow Spirits had freeze immunity, but now it shows on their unit panel. Okay. Elusive Form trait passive now has the correct value. The Mistling Fey trick now has the correct bleed chance value. Keepers of Knowledge, not mentioning all aspects it gives. Oh. Fixed description of Wizard King's Quickened Ritual. Fixed Swift Restoration skill description to say reduced cooldown instead of no cooldown. No cooldown would be funny. The Sundering Evocation fixed typo and sundered resistance stirring, now hyperlinks correctly. The Cascading Evocation no longer mention it gives fire evocation +5 damage, because it didn't. Added the word gain to the wildfire description. Nice. The Sundering Evocation now correctly states that Lightning Evocation is now also a debuff ability instead of becoming a debuff ability. So it's both magical and debuff. Got it. Fixed a missing string insert in Willbreaker. And fixed Blood Trail, not mentioning it inflicts marked. That is a pretty important bit. There are some multiplayer fixes. Raise out of sync. An issue where combat would soft lock after the vassal turn in manual combat if control AIs was enabled. Yep, okay. And of course, one out of sync. Only one this time. That could occur due to the same unit upgrade being provided from multiple places. Ya bonk one! Another one shows up. Good luck. Rulers. Fix several rulers who suddenly wore unintended capes. No capes! Removed any headgear from Oneron, Eldritch Realms, to show his bold, bald personality once again. Fix the loadout of Nazru, Eldritch Realms, so he correctly uses a barbarian weapon. Fix an issue where the pronouns of Dragon Lords and Eldritch Sovereigns would reset. I wasn't crazy! It wasn't my fault! Ysera is a chick, and I said her to be a chick. I feel vindicated for no reason. Like, this is just such a minor detail, but Ysera's pronouns bugged out. And I was like, But yes, she is, in fact, a lady dragon. Tome of the Reaper. Greater animation now correctly works to keep enemy undead after combat. Oh, good. Tome of the Crucible. Meteor arrows now correctly gives +3 damage instead of +4. I'm going to abuse this real quick. Tomes of the God Emperor was wrongly stacking Condemned. Now can no longer stack. Aww. I mean, good fix, but aw. Umbral Abyss. Fix an issue where the Umbral Tyrant heroes do not have the Umbral Demon tag. Oh. Fix an issue where Free City AI with War Coordination does not attack the Umbral Dwelling, but instead roams around. And last but not least, the world map. Fix an issue where moving an enemy onto a city or province based on a friendly vassalized city would not be handled correctly. Okay. Fix an issue where indirectly defeating infestation by attacking an army that is not on the infestation itself would not complete bounties for clearing the infestation. This is why I always right-click the thing. Fixed a crash that could occur due to a unit temporarily gaining more vision and triggering a meet while reactivating post-combat before their relation modifiers had been reactivated. Incredibly specific. Good fix. Fix issues where the underground terraforming does not work. Oh. Fix issues with the primal den generation. And fix an issue where battles inside own Ancient Wonders borders retain their special combat enchantments. Yeah, in the Kasessic playthrough, which is the only primal playthrough I've done still, the dens were very far away. I think there was only one that was near my second city, and then the other ones were just hog wild all over the place. But that is the open beta. Again, if you want to enter the open beta, be warned. There are warnings. It doesn't go back to 1.2. You're in to test out the stuff. What do I think? I think this is a good patch. I think the people who really hate the hero rework aren't going to like it anymore. It's kind of how it is. But I do think these hybrid classes, as they call them, is a good step in the right direction. I was actually thinking, I don't know how they could possibly do this, but of course we have a Baldur's Gate 3 series going on, so I was thinking if it would be possible to multi-class. Now again, part of the problem in their design was it was difficult for them to add certain things. The example they give is +1 retaliation as a trait in the old system, because someone would pick that up and then use a shock weapon, which of course hits way harder than like an intended weapon, which would be like a polearm or, you know, a one-handed, which is what they would intend that talent for, but players would find a way to, you know, use it else. So I'm quite curious to see what the trees look like for the Death Knight and the Spellblade, and I am very eager to play them. So there will need to be a change in my future plans, but worry not. I shall make them for when they come. On that, feel free to let me know what you think. I am excited about the new skirmisher weapons. Some kind of, not let down is the word, but the one-handed crossbow and the pistol are kind of basic, if you will. But all in all, I think this is a good patch. I'm very eager to see the feedback they get from open beta. I hope that everyone can enjoy the new stuff, and I'm excited to play it when it drops later this month, or early January, whatever. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you to the patrons and the channel members who support the channel. I greatly appreciate you. If you would like to stay on my channel, feel free to join the Discord in the description down below, where you can also find this. Like to read it for yourself. And I'll see you next time.